Are you dealing with harassment, discrimination, or anything on that sort at your current job? If so, I'm gonna give you some tips on how to handle that. This is how to sue, okay? This is how to sue your employer.
Let them bitches hating on you with their friends, girl, you got it. Let them know that everything big. Nail done, hair done.
I am not an attorney. I'm not an attorney. I don't have any license or anything. This is just my opinion, okay? And I am going through legal actions with my current employer. I'm just giving some tips on what I've been going through, and I feel like it will be helpful for anyone else that's going through the same situation. For me personally, I did not know what to do. I did not know who to turn to. So I did my little research, and that's how I came up to where I'm at now. We're filed. We get everything done. So and on my channel we talk about that in depth. I give you guys some tips and all that good stuff. But this video I'm just gonna give you some tips on. This is like the first step. Like if your employer is discriminating against you, or someone made a comment and you don't know what to do, suing is always going to be an option for me. I'm always going to say sue them. I'm always going to say that, especially if they're a $1 billion, $1 million company. Sue them. And if they are, yes, okay. So we go back to my first tip, which is to document date, time, and whoever's around. Date, time, and whoever's around, right? So we're just gonna build, and when we're ready, that's when we're gonna contact HR. So once you will have your bulletproof evidence. After you get our evidence on what happened, it is time to file with the EEOC. You need a right to sue letter, and you'll get that with the EEOC. Especially if you're still employed, go there first, and then let that play out, because it'll take about 6 to 7 months to just get a hearing with someone, and then they're gonna decide whether they want to take your case. But if not, they will give you a right to sue letter, and you have about 180 days to file with the appropriate court. Right. If you file with the EEOC, you will experience retaliation, especially if you're still employed. It's going to happen. You're just going to have to stick it out. Do not quit. I know it's going to be hard. Call out as much as you want, but stick it through, because it's hard, especially white people's retaliation. I don't know if I can say that on here. I have a few cocktails. No. But anyway, it's going to be hard, but stick it out. So basically, after the initial whatever situation that happened, you document time and date, then you file with the EEOC. The EEOC will do an investigation. They do their investigation. They're gonna talk to the managers and whoever HR. They're gonna do the investigation, and then they'll tell you if you have a case or not. If you do not have, if they feel like your case is not strong enough, they will give you the right to sue. Once you get that right to sue, find your attorney. That's the route that I went, and don't do what I did. What I did was I filed with the EEOC. I just knew they were gonna take my case. I don't know why. I just knew they were gonna take my case. But mind you, they're understaffed. Let's say. So me being naive, I just knew they were taking my case. I feel like I have bulletproof evidence. Okay, I'm like, I know they're gonna come. But mind you, of course, HR lied, and they're going to lie. That's why you need all your documents. If you have a witness, even better. But in my case, HR lied. The managers lied. Okay, everyone lied. Anyway, so I waited till I got my right to sue, then I looked for an attorney. I thought it would be easy to find an attorney, but it was not. It was the hardest thing. I cried a few days. It's not easy finding an attorney, especially every time you call a different law firm, you're gonna have to go through their paralegal. And if the paralegal say, oh, you do have a case, then you go forth like that. If you're filing with the EEOC and they give you about 6 to 7 months before a hearing, through that time, I suggest you go look for an attorney, especially if you're still employed. Look for an attorney through those times. So by the time you have your right to sue, or if EEOC do take your case, you're good. But do it that way, because mind you, it's a fast ball once you get the EEOC letter, okay? Now, since I am still employed, someone gave me an option, and I'm gonna say someone loosely because it's a lot with that. I feel like it was a little manipulation going on in there. I'm gonna say that. But you can file for what's it called? Workers' comp. You can file with workers' comp. I don't suggest you do it. I don't. So I was going to go through workers' comp. I did the whole thing. I canceled it because of something. I'm like, no, you know, I didn't feel right about doing it. But they will probably give you an option for workers' comp. I don't suggest you do it because I don't think you know how many doctor appointments you have to go through before you even go to your hearing. It's just a lot, and I didn't feel comfortable doing it. But they might give you an option for workers' comp, and you get paid, but you don't have to go to work. And of course, if you're suing your employer, they don't want you to come back, and they can't fire you because that's retaliation. And let's talk about retaliation, because literally everything after you file, because you're protected after you file, you're protected, is illegal. Your employer is not going to care. They're still going to do things. They're still going to try to set you. They're going to still do things, mind you. But still document. Even if you file, still document. Still, I say still report people. It's going to make your time a little worse. But you got to do what you got to do, okay? Oh my god, I know this video is all over the place. I've been skipping over steps. But that's the main thing. So after you got all your documents, then I suggest you to report to the HR. If you report to HR, remember this. HR protects the company. They'll be all buddy-buddy with you because they won't get information. They're going to try to fire everyone that you put on there. On your complaint, they might try to fire everyone. They will. Because they're trying to protect the company from a lawsuit. They're the first line of defense for a lawsuit. So, after you have your evidence, the time and date, and if you have witnesses, what I mean by that, once you get serious and you're filing and you're about to sue, the witnesses that you have, they're no longer going to be supportive of you. And I say that you're gonna find out the hard way that your co-workers are not your friend. They're gonna protect their job over you. They will even also try to throw you under the bus. Learn from my mistake. Learn from me. I had a few witnesses that in the initial before I even filed. Once I filed, they turned on me as well. Okay, so keep that back in mind. So you're gonna learn the hard way that your co-workers are not your friend. Okay, so boom. Then once you contact HR, let them do their investigation while you doing with the EEOC, because the EEOC is going to ask, who did you report this to? So that's what I'm saying. I want you to wait until you have your evidence, and then you contact HR and let them know what happened. Let them try to solve the issue, but most likely they're not going to solve it. They probably just fire whoever is who you're complaining against. And that's going to help you. If they just fire that person, it's going to help you in the long run. It is. So, after you file, so you report it to HR or the manager. You know what? It's going to be, let me go back. See, this is why I shouldn't have had a cocktail. But it's okay. We can get through this. So, there is a hierarchy of filing a complaint. So, basically, it's going to be your managers first, and then I feel like the HR is supposed to be last, if I'm not mistaken. But in my case, store manager, and then HR. So you're gonna have to tell all of them need to know what's going on. So that's basically the hierarchy. But if you report to at least one person and you tell that to the EEOC attorney, you're good. They're gonna ask you, who did you report this to? They're gonna ask you that. What documents you may have there. So boom, after you did that, contact the EEOC, and they'll tell you, they give you some advice. They tell you what to do, what not to do. I love them. Okay, I love them. Even though they didn't take my case, I still love them. So I want to say this. If you are, like I said earlier, if you're going through a lot at your job, don't just sit there and deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, let me rephrase. Sit there and deal with it, but also talk to an attorney, because we're not going to just sit in pain. And don't give up. Do not give up. We are not going to give up. That's what I'm saying. We're not going to give up. So that is it on my tips on how to sue your employer. Straight to the point. A little bit of, mind you, this video idea was on top of my head. I'm going through a lot at my job, my current job, so I feel like I want to get some tips. Most likely I will do a part 2 to this, or a updated version of this, because I know it's all over the place. But that's those are the main tips. Document date and time and whoever's around you. Contact HR or your manager, or all two. I did all of it. Then you file with the EEOC. Get that right to sue letter. Find your attorney, and then you guys gonna go file. That's how we gonna do it.